food pantry program within our community.
So this,
This is actually a item by Gwen that she's going to, the idea that she came up with to better promote this, and I'm going to allow her to explain her ideas. You can do it right there if you'd like.
Okay,
Just bring your mic
That's
forward.
even better.
Yeah.
I have a heavy voice anyway. Well, it's an honor to serve and then to have the opportunity to bring this idea forward. You all have already voted it in, but I'm really not sure of all the components that's attached to it. However, as I sit and I listen, and we know that we want it to be a community effort, some things came to my mind, especially working within the church arena, and then different entrepreneurs and food service people that are in our community. So my little brain got to going, and I thought, how about bringing this to you all to see what the consensus would be to maybe make it more well-rounded with everyone in the community working, since it is a homeless project, and we as a collaborative community ought to try to work together. So I thought that I made two forms. One was for grocery entrepreneurs, and then for ministries, and to reach out to the ministries, starting out with 10, if that would, suffice us, knowing that you want to put up the install it on properties. I kind of like personally strayed away a little bit from dealing with homeowners, but maybe we would gear toward people that actually had huge parking lots, had access, that it would maybe create some opposition when people are interfacing or walking up. But I still don't know how churches would feel about it, but it would have to be a survey consensus to see how it goes if is approved to attack it this way. So I was just looking at churches and grocery stores or people that house food, and in the ministry we would ask them if they'd be willing to let us utilize their parking lot for the installed pantry, and if it was accessible to do so, and then maybe periodically, depending on what we voted on, how often they would personally do a food drive within their local church or their local community, helping them to see it to come to pass. And then also with the grocery stores, finding out if they were willing to partner with the city homeless committee and find out what they would like to donate to help the project go forward. And then this is this little flyer that I had to cover it if we decided to go for it. It doesn't have to be this, but the idea of where I was going with it, the little free food pantry, let's give what we can, and you anticipate putting up affordable pantry install on their site, asking them would they like to share their property, and then it's directed or facilitated by our City of Seaside Homeless Committee, and then down here we can decide as a collective group what type of items or non-perishable items we'd like to be donated, and then who the point of contact would be when we're going forward, or any questions that need to be answered. And this was just the start of what came to my mind. And if something that you want to go forward with, then I know I don't know if anyone else is comfortable with approaching churches or whatever, but I don't have a problem with definitely the churches, and then we could collaborate about the grocery stores to see if they'd like to have a portion or support us, and then come back with feedback as to how it's coming, and then if you want to move forward, we can do that. And that's about it at this point.
Thank you. That is inspirational. No, I do think we stalled a little bit after what came through, and I know that we were still waiting on some of the moving pieces. I think reaching out to our community in different venues is exactly how we need to promote this. I know what we maybe had talked about doing some sort of social media flyer to get the word out, because this is it's a little bit of a pilot, so that's why we originally had targeted, if I'm recalling correctly, homeowners, because they would kind of drive this project a little bit, because it's hard it's a little bit difficult for us to kind of manage it. Somebody would have to kind of take over that responsibility. But I know that churches, I think Pastor Murray had mentioned something about his space being available and open to doing that, and definitely connecting with other community leaders, I think is an excellent way to do it. I like the idea of this flyer. and designating appropriate donations and, contact information. Yeah, yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts that you'd like to share, or?
Yeah, thank you for that very much. I think it's wonderful. And I really like the idea, again, like you're saying, partnering with the churches, and I think with the grocery stores, because they're already set up there and people are accustomed at grocery stores to giving food for different causes, including around the holidays. I think that would be something that they would be very attracted to because they're so familiar with it, and because it's a novel idea and a unique spin on it. So I like both options.
And because what I find is most churches, they have a type of outreach or mission that they deal with, and sometimes they get kind of lost in the vision of which direction they can go. And if they had something legitimate that they could support, it might, be a good idea. Can't say until we survey it and see what the synopsis is going to be after it's all, over and done with. So I don't know if we want to look at it and if anyone else wants to, tackle the ministries, if this is adopted, if this, this tactic is adopted, but however, and come back with the feedback of the type of response which we see from it. Go from there. So I only just put 10 on it because if we could initiate 10 each and work it successfully, that would be a plus.
Thank you. Okay, so the churches and the grocery stores. Now, who is going to supervise as to what's in there, what needs to be destroyed, what is old, and all of that? Are the churches going to do this?
One of the things that I have put down on my note is a draft for the standards and procedures, etc., of how this would actually be functioning, because some of us, or some or more, are familiar with the pros and cons of what may transpire. However, it's going to have to be a collective effort of all our minds coming together, what we think would work as we go forward, with it. So I didn't want to just personally say, hey, I'm giving the guidelines of how it needed to be constructed, but I was, just offering a particular path of which way we can go. But if a church that decides to do this, I'm quite sure that already has a food bank, I think they may have some type of protocol that they're already operating by and could implement it a little bit better. But at the same token, because I'm not clear, I'm looking at the portable. Is it open all the time? Those are some questions that I have. Is it open all the time? How frequently are the homeless individuals able to, walk up and be serviced, even though you have the expiration and restock dates that will be vital, and I believe in our establishing the protocol of how we want to utilize it and go forward could be established as a collective body of what we think should transpire to be sure we don't fall into any type of danger. Where the food is concerned.
But that's still being worked on with.
Yeah, we'll have to work, because like I said, I'm just new and I heard it the other day and was looking at my flyer and I was like, oh wow. But the positive thing about it is really getting the community involved, and those are the two aspects that I thought of and just came up with this to come back in a short period of time to have something to offer to a foundation to start.
And you said 10, you had 10 in mind to start?
Well, no, I don't, but I'm quite sure I can.
What is your
I know
goal?
a lot of churches, and I don't have a problem of tackling and going to the pastor and finding out who the lead person that would facilitate a project like this that I could, coordinate with, where that is concerned. But if someone else, I don't mind doing the churches and coming back, but if someone doesn't mind working the grocery stores, talking to management and finding out, and then we come back and talk about it further. And if we got a positive, response, we know when we come back.
I'm happy to tackle grocery stores.
Wonderful. So,
And somebody can join me too. I don't need to do it alone.
So I think those are all fantastic ideas. I want to check in with the chief, because I know that we had discussed kind of the city not necessarily participating in monitoring those pantries that people have chosen to allow on their property, that they would kind of handle that. So that's kind of
The guideline we put in there then?
yeah, and so at this point, I think we're at that space, I believe, where we wanna advertise and let everybody know that this is a possibility, because what we've done is we've gone through the appropriate channels to say it's okay for us to put up these little free pantries on the property. But I know that there's issues with monitoring the food and the expiration, and those would be all in the guidelines, like if you're gonna do this,
This is what's expected.
this is what's expected, yeah. And I don't know, soliciting donations from, grocery stores, I don't know if, how that is, the protocol for that is.
Check into that.
Yeah.
Well, I know when you're having functions, sometimes they have no problem donating.
Yeah, yeah.
But on something on this magnitude may be a little different.
And I know that we were still in discussion with maybe the county about health code, or certain kinds of items that were, no,
I think it comes down to as long as we are using canned or boxed
Non-perishable items.
yeah,
items, yeah.
yeah. And so that would be really under the guidelines of, you know, either the homeowner or the church or the facility that decides to take on this project. So, I think getting a letter of some sort maybe put together, will be the first step, cause that will put the guidelines of, and then we were also talking about maybe doing the first 3 people or homeowners or facilities that want to do this, that we would provide the actual food pantry as a donation.
And that's what I wanted to ask about.